Welcome to Miss Stories in Crime. I'm your host, Melissa Thompson. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. I'd love to have you as part of the community. Today marks 4 months since Summer MoonUtah Wells has gone missing. I can't believe that it's been 4 months. And I have a question for all of you. Are we any closer to finding Summer? Are we any closer to finding the truth of how she went missing? What happened to this precious 5-year-old baby girl? I wanted to talk to you about things that have happened recently because I haven't done a video on Summer in a while. And it doesn't mean that I haven't thought about Summer because I think about her every day. I think about all the people that I look at and look at their case and read about them. I think about these people. They're on my mind. And working in the medical field and volunteering my time to help others, I have a lot of empathy. And I guess losing my eldest daughter has put me in a position where I have a hard time when it comes to children being missing or hurt in some way. So this case has got to me, as Gabby Petito, Cash Gernon, and others. So let's discuss what happened. September 24th, 2021, Dawn Wells granted an interview with the behavioral panel. And if you don't know who the behavioral panel is, there are 4 experts that are experts in behavioral language, behavioral analysis. One of them has interrogated for the military. So they wrote a course, they have books, they're amazing. Now they have done an analysis on Donald and Candus from the interview that they granted a TV station. Now that TV station asked the behavioral panel to take that down, so it is no longer there. At the time, the behavioral panel said that they believed that Donald and Candus were telling the truth. Now, they, like me and many others, also thought that they were on something which can make studying behavior hard. If there's a medication that's affecting them, it can change the way we read people. So they sit down and talk, and I love the approach that they used. They were making Donald very comfortable. They said in the beginning that this was not going to be an interrogation. That was not how they were going to come at this. They wanted to make Donald very comfortable. This was going to be an interview. But as you watch this interview, and I suggest everybody go over to the behavioral panel, subscribe, and watch them, because they will be doing additional shows on this interview. They wanted Donald as relaxed as can be, and I was watching them watch him. They were studying every single thing about him and making sure it looked like they were on his side, so he would feed them more information. Now, Donald was on his best behavior, as he is when he is with others that can intimidate him. And when he's not with people like that, you could go to Don B's channel and hear his recorded interview that he had with Donald Wells, where Donald Wells used every 4-letter word in the book to talk about Ronnie Lawson, the sheriff, who still says everybody is a suspect in this case. So, what did Donald Wells tell the behavioral panel? Well, he pretty much blames everybody. It's, again, everybody else's fault. And 2 of the things that I really got out of this was, now Hunter and Allie are huge suspects to Donald. Now, the law enforcement has been all over the people that are in Donald and Candus's lives, where would they put Summer? I mean, honestly, I really was like, I was kind of yelling at my TV screen listening to him do this. And then he decided that his stepsisters, nieces, and Chris McDonough cooked up a plan because they believed that Summer was in danger, and so they took her. Excuse me. I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So the behavioral panel asks Donald if he did anything to Summer. And when he is asked difficult questions, he tends to close his eyes. I found that about talking about his criminal past, the behavioral essay that he had with his stepsisters, closed his eyes, tried to obfuscate from the conversation, the questions. He did not like that. He talked about David Dotson. David Dotson is now a suspect, according to him. Everybody is a suspect except him and Candus. And are you ready for this one? The behavioral panel asked Donald what kind of questions he asked Candus. You know, did you talk about that day? And then he's like, oh, no, we didn't really talk about it. And they're like, come on, you must have talked about something. And Donald says, well, I questioned Candus about her mother. So he honestly believed also that her mother could be involved in this. And she still hasn't returned to the state of Tennessee. So they asked Donald what prescription Candus picked up for her mother that day. He, again, deflects, I don't know, I have no idea. But the behavioral panel seemed very interested in what that prescription was. And I told you guys that was something that I was thinking too. I wanted to know what that prescription was. They asked about his boys. He talked about the gag order. He did pretty much say that he didn't really know the ages of his 3 boys that were living at home, which I was like, wow, okay, so you don't know the ages. I'm like, okay. He blamed his neighbors for making moonshine and illegal substances. He said that people come up at night and steal things off the property. Now, the behavioral panel asked him, how easy is it to see your property from the road? And he's like, oh, it's very easy. And they asked, well, could somebody just come up there and drive around your house? And he goes, absolutely. And they're like, nobody would hear them? He goes, no way. But Donald seems to forget something. There's a locked chain at the end of their driveway. So how does somebody drive their vehicle up there? Because remember, Chris McDonough went and showed us how you get to their house. You're driving up a hill and you have no idea what's going to meet you at the top of the hill. So that was kind of interesting that he's saying, oh, it's so easy to see our house and blah, 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 blah. Now, the behavioral panel also discussed the dog trail, and Donald did not seem like he wanted to talk about the dog trail, which, again, that was surprising. His main goal seemed to be, in this interview, now you have to remember, Donald called the behavioral panel. He wanted the interview with them. So they were doing this because he called, and so, you know, it's a good thing so they can read his behaviors. They could see how he reacts to the questions, talking about Summer. He doesn't call Summer by name a lot. He wouldn't discuss too much the events of the morning when he woke up and said Summer was in bed asleep. Everything seems to be rehearsed. It's the same thing over and over again, except every time he seems to grant an interview, he has somebody else to blame. It's somebody else. They stole Summer. They kidnapped her. He is very confident that somebody kidnapped her. And he wanted that to be known. He also said that he stays away from anybody but church people. He is, him and his wife are good church-going people. They obey the commandments. They're just God people. The behavioral panel asked Donald about discipline. Now, this is interesting. He said that he never had to discipline Summer. But then he says, if I just said one word to her, she'd start crying crocodile tears. And then I'd say, oh, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have said that to you. And then they mentioned the boys. And that seemed to be where he didn't want to answer about the discipline. And if you remember, they have said in the past that Summer used to chase after the boys with a stick off the tree. And that had to be a learned behavior. She had to have seen that. When the behavioral panel asked Donald if Candus ever punished her, he first wouldn't answer. And then he said, no, she wouldn't. She never punished Summer. But we have seen on a TikTok video Candus screaming at Summer and telling her if she doesn't knock it off that, she's going to get a spanking. And the behavioral panel wanted to make sure that Donald felt comfortable saying everybody spanks their children because they wanted him to give them the information that, do you spank your children, Donald? And in my opinion, I think they did discipline their children. I don't know about Summer, but I would definitely say the boys. Now, he talked about Allie and Hunter blaming them after Summer went missing. And he also mentions that about his stepsisters and his nieces, and everything that they have said is a lie. He said that that they told TBI that he hurt Summer and he did something with her. What they told in interviews with Chris McDonough is that he SA'd his stepsisters. And I think there's up to 6 women now that have come forward and told their stories about what Donald did to them. So it was a lot of blaming, deflecting. He blames Facebook, YouTube, the psychics for the reason why his boys were taken away. It's never their fault. And it's at that time, it was getting to the point where it's 3.5 months. And he just rehearses the same thing over and over and over again. Then the last thing he had talked about was Candus putting everything up on TikTok and then how they could be, the targets of taking Summer. I can't see how easy it would be to go on their property and take Summer. You can't see a child from that distance and know that you could get up there and grab her quickly. He talked about how now she could open the basement door and that the boys often left the basement door open. In the past, when he's talked about that, he said, I don't know if she could open the door. But now that part has seemed to change, that yes, she could. When he doesn't want to answer something, his responses are, can't remember, don't know, or That's what he says. He talked about, the behavioral panel asked him about drama in the family. Every family has drama. They were trying to relate to him in that way. And he says, well, the only drama we have is related to drinking. And they asked, well, is there violence involved in the drinking? And he said yes. And he said usually Candus was the one that was doing the violence to him in that respect. And they did talk about the Jose situation, and he pretty much blamed Allie for all that. And in his mind, Jose could also be responsible for Summer. And I felt like I was listening to Letitia Stout blaming Eduardo. I felt like Jose was Eduardo in this situation. So he's done that, and David Dotson is on his list, as I said. David Dotson does not go to the church any longer. He met a woman, and apparently he's going to a Baptist church. And it seemed that David Dotson was very, very nice to the family and tried to help them. But of course now Donald needs some more people to blame, so he makes the list. He did talk rather well, about Robin, because you have to remember, Summer loved Robin. Robin paid her attention where it didn't seem like she got that attention at home. It seems like, looking at her pictures and seeing videos of her, it seemed like that she was neglected. And we've all mentioned that going on. Now, I have a theory, and I'm wondering what you guys think about it. Right now, all eyes have been on the Gabby Petito case, and it's been that way for weeks. Donald does not like when he doesn't get attention. So I think that part of what he's been doing was try to get the attention that Gabby Petito's case has got. The thing is, Donald does not want the attention to go to Summer. He wants it on himself. And therefore, he has made these interviews. He also has made the Don Wells Family Official YouTube channel. I suggest all of you go check it out. He's made very short videos. And in one, he wanted to thank everybody for keeping, Summer's name out there, and for the funds people are giving. And he read his thank you off of his phone. It was a 34-second speech, and he hardly looked into the camera. Now, here's an interesting little tidbit that we need to talk about. On October 14th, Don Wells puts up on the Don Wells Family YouTube channel, he states, "At this time, we are under a contractual agreement that we cannot speak about our trip. We will be allowed to make a statement within 2 weeks. This is about finding Summer. Thank you, everyone. Don Wells family." There have been rumors that Don and Candus went on the Dr. Phil show. But apparently Don and Candus have not addressed that except for this little message. So I'm wondering if this is about the Dr. Phil show. Also, last night, a prayer vigil took place. Tiffany Marie has it over on her YouTube channel. I believe 423 Chasing helped her out by getting that video up. It was a very beautiful thing that everybody was coming together. And I believe there's another vigil tonight. I saw across that Ziggy was having it on her channel. So that is what's been going on. And 4 months, and we still don't know where little Summer Moon is. And that is the most heartbreaking thing. And I have a message to Don and Candus. This is not about you. This has nothing to do with you two being in the public eye. Remember what he told Cher from Voices Behind the Wall, that he wanted to make money off of this. Why do you think that he's out there now trying to gain publicity and he's getting Candus to stay by his side? He wants the attention Gabby Petito's case has, but he wants it on himself, and he wants to make bank off of his daughter's case, and that is really sad. In my opinion, I think they know what happened to Summer Moon, and I really hope that we get to the bottom of this. I thank you all for listening and for all your comments. I love chatting with you all. I hope you all are well. You had a beautiful week and have a very, very beautiful weekend. I will talk to you soon. Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.